welcome to Let's Paint, acrylic painting classes for beginners of all ages. I'm Victoria Goebel, and in each video I will be teaching you techniques step by step to a completed acrylic painting. In each class we will have students learning alongside you. Today we have Troop 2024 from San Diego, California. Everybody wave! We will be painting the California poppies today, just like in this painting right here. And we'll put a 3D butterfly that you're going to get to hand paint that as well, and then glue it on at the end. But before we get started, everybody has their paintbrushes, their water, you have your paint, and you have your paper towels and a pencil. So let's hold up our pencil. And this is what we're going to sketch the first part of our painting. The first part of our painting is we're going to draw the line where the land starts. So this is our sky, and this is where our land starts. So it's not here in the middle, it's kind of up here on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you first how to do it, and then you copy me, okay? So I'm going to just kind of do a loop like this, and then another little hill like this. And that's all there is. So I want everybody to draw your two little hills on there. And everybody's painting is going to be different. So don't look at your friend next to you, and don't try to, and don't be sad if it doesn't look exactly like mine, because yours is one of a kind and it's an original. Okay? All right. So let's start with the sky. Whenever we start a painting, we want to start from the top and work our way down. And why do we want to do that? Because if I start here and then I go to do the sky, my hand is going to get all full of paint. So I start with the sky and work my way down. Okay? So everybody, on your plate you have a little blue, a little green, and a big glob of white. So take your large brush and let's dip it in some water. Okay? And then go ahead and just dab it on a paper towel. We just don't want to start with a dry brush. Okay, now I want you to separate some of that white and mix some blue in it. Just like that. And then with the other side, we're going to put some green in it. So we kind of have a mint green and a really pretty light turquoise blue. Both of these colors are phthalo blue and phthalo green. Okay, now since green was the second one that I mixed, I'm going to start with the green first. And we're going to go ahead and start at the bottom. And come around the sides. We want to get the side of the canvas too, because that'll be pretty when we go to hang it up. Okay, and now I'm going to dip it in my blue mixture. And I'm going to go ahead and do the top, and I'm going to blend those two together once I get all of the blue down. See how my brush is just going to blend those two colors together? Isn't that pretty? And that's just going to be a very soft sky. And don't forget to do the top of your canvas. I'm going to come around on this side. Okay, so it should look something like this when you're all done. So I'm just going to let you girls catch up and work on your sky. And while you're doing that, I'm going to get the colors for your grass ready, okay? If you're all done, all you have to do is take your paintbrush and put it in the water and just leave it there. You don't have to do the sides if you don't want to, but it looks nicer if you do. It just looks a lot prettier when you go to hang it on the wall. Okay, so before we get started on the next part, I want you to take your paintbrushes and let's twirl them around in our water. You can keep the water on your table and just twirl it around because we want to get all that paint off. And then you're going to take it and dab it on your paper towel. And now we're ready to get started with the next part, okay? Okay, so we have our sky done. Now we're going to work on the background of our landscape where the grass and the poppies are growing, okay? So as you look at this painting, what do you see behind the flowers? What do you see? Trees? You're right. But what else do you see right here? Behind the flowers, what do you see? Grass. Yep. And is the grass just one color or all different kinds of colors? Yeah, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start with a lighter shade of green and work down into a darker shade of green. So let's do that right now. Let's go ahead and first things first, let's go ahead and start using, let's take our medium-sized brush. It's not the smallest. Okay, and you're gonna just dip it in that dark green color. And all we're gonna do is just kind of brush on some little trees in the background. And don't forget to go around the side. And these are so far away, this is just almost like the silhouettes of the trees. You can put it on thick or thin. If you put it on thick, it'll be darker. If you put it on thin, it'll be lighter. Now I chose not to go all the way across, but if you want to, you can, okay? This is going to dry a lot darker than what you're putting it on. When you get done doing your trees, just take your paintbrush and put it right in the water, swish it around, get rid of all the paint, and wipe it on a paper towel. Because we're going to go back to the big paintbrush. Okay, so we're gonna go on to the grass. If you're still working on your trees, that's okay. Just stop and watch me so that you can start doing the grass when you get done doing your trees. So all of you have 3 colors of paint on your palette. You have yellow, and you have the dark green, and you have white. So what we're gonna do is start making some colors that we're gonna put on here. So let's start by taking our green and let's push half of it aside and mix some yellow in it and make like a really pretty, almost like an apple green, okay? And leave some of your green dark, okay? Don't use all of it. Okay, so take your paintbrush, and it should have light green on it, and dip it in the white. And now we're gonna make a light apple green color. Okay, so it should kind of look like this. So now all of you should have a apple green, a dark green, and a light minty green color. Okay, so we're gonna start with the lighter shades on top, and then we're gonna go to the apple green, and then we're gonna go to the dark green. So if you wanna watch me first, I'll show you how it's done, and then you can just follow right behind me. So I'm going to start with the light up here on the top and go ahead and do one hill like this. I'll start with the one in the front. And I'm kind of going right over my trees. Okay? And I want to go around the side. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and do this one on the top. This is the lighter shade of green. Okay, when I get done with that, I'm gonna dip it right into that beautiful apple green color that we made, and I'm gonna start blocking in that and blend it right in with the light green. And you know what's next after that? The dark green is next after that. All this is going to get covered up with flowers, so don't worry. so much about how it lays down on the canvas. Okay, and then after I get done doing the apple green, I'm just going to stick it in that dark green color and start putting in the dark green. Do you see what it's supposed to look like now? Okay, I'm just going to block that all in and blend all those colors together. Just kind of have your paintbrush go from side to side, up and down. Some of the other colors, like the white, are still on my brush, and that's okay. It's all going to get covered up with flowers. And again, if you're doing the whole canvas and you want to lift it up and do it underneath, you can do it underneath. And I'm going to go ahead and do mine too. And this is what it should sort of look like when it's done, except it will have your personality on it. Okay, welcome back, and let's get started with our flowers. We have our background and it's nice and dry. Everybody touch it and make sure it's dry. It's good. Okay, so on your palettes you have orange, cad yellow light, white, and phthalo green. I want you to take your medium-sized brush, not the smallest one, but this one, this size right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with the flowers that are way, way, way in the background. So if they were far away, we really wouldn't see any details. We would only see the details, the ones that are up close, and they're at the bottom. So let's start with up here on the top. So go ahead and just dip it in the orange. And what you're going to do is you're just going to kind of skim your brush across like this, leaving some of the green showing. Not all of the green, but some of the green. See how we're kind of covering up that grass, and some of you were kind of concerned that you didn't like your grass, and I told you it's all going to get covered up anyway. So we're just kind of skimming it across. Just on the left side. We're not going to do the right side yet. Now, a lot of times when you are in fields where the California poppies are growing, they're just covered with poppies, and it looks so beautiful to see them in a field like this. So we want to make sure that our field is full of orange. You can kind of see the green coming through, but that's good. We want that to happen. Now, as I get towards the bottom, my flowers have to start getting a little bit bigger. So now I'm going to take my brush and I'm just going to put some bigger pieces. Instead of it being all blended, I'm actually going to put some bigger strokes. Still scattering them everywhere, all over my field, on the sides as well. And still showing some green. And each one of these little strokes that I put down like this is a flower. And I'm not going to do everything. Some of it I want to leave just green. And as I get further down, I want my flowers to be even bigger. And if you are wondering how the California poppy is shaped, I have that chalkboard over there with the shape of the flowers. And basically, I'm going to do one down here so that you can see. It's sort of just like a tulip shape, like that. There's not a whole lot to it. The California poppy has 4 petals, and only 4 petals. And I want some big ones in the front. These will be along the bottom, the big ones. Some of them are right next to each other, so I just sort of blend them in together. But as I go up, I want them to get smaller and smaller. So the next one would probably be about that size, and then the next one would be about that size, and we would just get smaller and smaller till we blend it right in to this size up here. And this is just the first part of our flower. So we're going to put some more details on these flowers. They're not going to stay this, this solid orange color. Don't forget to leave some of your grass showing. Don't cover everything up with the orange. So this is kind of where I think I'm going to stop putting in this solid color, and then I'm going to take my paintbrush and put just a few far away ones on this hill. Just very, very small little blotches. And there's just sort of a smaller field of flowers over here. Not a lot. So what I'm going to do is show you the next part, just because you can always come back and put more of the plain orange paint on if you want. So if everybody will just look up here, and we'll go ahead and I'll show you the second part. So you've got some yellow here, and we're going to mix some orange and yellow together to make a much lighter color. This is actually more the color of the California poppy. It's like a light tangerine, yellowy orange color. So we're going to do this so we get a lighter shade. And only on the ones on the front, we're going to brush down and give some detail to some of these petals. Oh, it's okay if it's wet. It's almost better if it's wet because it'll blend in nicer. And so all you want to do is just put some strokes that kind of look like petals. And we're going to go ahead and just hit all of the big ones in the front. And as you get farther away, you're just going to take that paintbrush and just sort of dab it, just to kind of give highlights to all of these little tiny ones in the back. Just little tiny dots of paint. And even these faraway ones, I'm going to just slightly brush this color over the orange just to give it some warm highlights. And this makes them look a little bit more like the poppy flower by giving them that detail. Okay, and then don't forget that little field off to the side. Put a few little highlights on those as well. Let's warm those up. How's everybody doing? Oh, wow, look at these. Oh my gosh, they're just popping off the canvases. When you get done with that really pretty tangerine color, and I'm seeing lots of different variations of it, take a little bit of white and mix it in that color, and now it's going to make it even lighter. And let's hit a few highlights. See how much lighter that is than the other color I did? And that's the sun hitting in a few places. So we want to kind of brush that in a few of our flowers, and that's the sunlight hitting our flowers. You don't have to do all of them with that light color, but some of them would be nice, yeah. Go ahead and hit that color on a few in the back. For some of you that are done, I'm going to show you the next step, and we're going to do some stems. You have that really pretty dark green color, and that's called phthalo green. We've used that before. And we're just going to take our little tiny paintbrush and dip it in that, and we're going to go ahead and just brush some stems in that. Otherwise, our flowers look like they're sort of floating around all by themselves, and they're not connected to the ground. So, of course, your stems are going to be bigger in the front, and then they're going to get smaller as you get far away. You won't even put any stems back here because it's just too far away. So we're just going to take this green and hit it in a few places, and it's kind of the grass in the background. Some of you don't have a whole lot of grass showing, so it won't take you long to get this part done. And then I'm just putting some dark pieces inside of the grass just to give it some depth. And if you want to, you can make a very pretty light appley green color like we did before, and go ahead and do some grass blades in that as well, and then you get a little bit more dimension. So we're almost finished. All we're going to do is put some little lavender flowers in our fields just to kind of mix it up a little. Look how the orange dried a little on the dark side because it's going over green. So it's having a hard time covering up the green paint. So if you want to go back over with some orange and hit some of your flowers again to make them orangerier, that's not a word, is it? More orange, then you go right ahead and hit it with some more colors. I think I'm going to do mine a little bit more just because I want to have that orange pop out. When we get done with this part, I'm going to give everybody a little butterfly, and you're going to just paint your butterfly any way you want. I'm going to show you how I do mine, and oh, that looks really pretty, by the way. And so then you can do it any way you want, though. You don't have to do it like mine. I want you to express yourself, be creative. Okay, I'm going to stop here, and somebody had their, yes. These are beautiful.
I mixed the orange and green. Can I use it on the...
Yeah, I like that. Okay, what did you, Marissa, right? Yeah. Marissa said she mixed some orange and green together to get kind of more of an earthy green. So you can do that as well. Be creative, mix your greens with the yellow, with the orange, and do your grass. In fact, I think I'm going to copy you, Marissa, because I like that idea. So this is the orange and the green mixed together. Isn't that pretty? Okay, and I'm going to go around and give everybody a little bit of purple paint because we're going to put a few lavender flowers in our field. I think that'd be pretty. Take your purple and your white and mix it together to make a lavender. You can make it as dark or as light as you like. But this time I want you to take that teeny tiny brush that I gave you. It's very small. And we're going to use that to put teeny tiny dabs of purple paint. And these are little lavender flowers that are in the background. And after you get done with this, you get to paint your butterfly. So you might want to use some purple on your butterfly and your yellow and orange and green. Okay, so now I'm going to hand you each a butterfly, but before you get started, you only need to paint the front. You don't need to paint the back because the back doesn't even show. It's going to get glued on. There's this size and there's this size, and I don't even care if you want to put two of them. It's okay. I think I have enough for everybody to have a small one and a big one. But in order to save time, I'm just going to show you what I did with mine, and you can do it any way you want. So if you take orange and green, just like Marissa said, and you put those two colors together, you get kind of a brown color. So you want to make sure that you do the middle of your butterfly first. Okay? So we're going to do the middle first. Then you're going to clean your brush. And this is what I did with mine, but you can do it any color you want. I'm just going to show you the technique I used. So I took a little yellow and a little white to make a very light yellow color. And then I took my brush, let me get that color, and I just brushed, see how the wing is right here? I just brushed towards the butterfly. And see how it kind of gives it color? So I start with the wing, the outside, and I brush towards the butterfly. And then I would do the other side because whatever's on one side of a butterfly is on the other. And when you get done with that, then all I do is glue it on. And then you're all done. So I'm going to go ahead and pass out the butterflies. So you tell me if you want one or two. Alrighty, so everybody have a butterfly now? Does anybody know what the very last thing you do when you finish a painting? That's it, you sign your name. So you can sign it in any color you want, and you can sign it anywhere you want on your painting. Most people put it at the bottom, but you can sign it anywhere you want. Remember, don't do the back side, just do the front of the butterfly. It'll be hard for me to glue it if it's wet on the back. You can do whatever you want, it's your butterfly. They're pretty much wrapping it up at this point. When we're all done, we're going to stand with our painting and take a group picture with all of you together. So I brought some tacky glue today because it's really good for sticking paper on anything. And so what I'm going to do is just put a tiny dab of tacky glue on the back of my butterfly, just on the body part, not on the wings. And then I just pick a spot and go ahead This time I think I'll put it over, because it's just kind of flying around. So I'm going to stick it right there. And I just hold my finger on there for a little bit and it will glue. I just don't want it, once I set it down, you don't want to keep moving it around because then it'll lose its stickiness. So if you are ready to have your butterfly glued on, raise your hand and I'll come around. Okay, I'll start with you since I'm right here, and then I'll come around and glue your butterflies. So, where would you like to put it? Let's bend the wings a little bit. We're gonna bend the wings just a little. Okay, so where would you like to put it? Right there, okay. So I'm just gonna hold it there for a second. If the glue comes out, it's gonna dry clear, so don't worry. Okay, who else is next? I'm gonna have to come around over here. Okay, let me see, which one do you wanna put on there? That one, okay. That is beautiful. And where do you wanna put your butterfly?
Right there.
Okay. Let me take this.
A big one.
Let's just hold it there with a paintbrush for a second. And now, once it's down, you can't touch it. You have to just let it dry. Okay.
That one right there. And this one right there.
Okay. Good choice. Is everybody happy with their painting? I'm so impressed. Where do you want to put this one? Okay, and where do you want to put?
I don't know.
You're gonna take that one home? Okay. Okay, just don't touch it. Once it's on there, don't touch it. On the edge, I like that idea. Okay. Okay, it won't move once it's down. Yeah, don't touch your butterflies and then they'll dry better. Okay, what about this one? You want to take that home? Okay, good idea. Right here? Curve it the other. Okay, and where would you like to put your butterfly? Okay, oh boy, that is so pretty. Let me have your, take the pencil. Why don't you, right here? Okay, now don't touch it because I like the 3D. Thank you for joining us today as we painted our California Poppies Troop 2024 from San Diego, California. Girls, wave goodbye.
Bye.
See you next time. Happy painting.